take a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am on a mission to help you to step into your power so that you can create the life you desire. Visit me at empoweredlifeprograms.com to learn more. Hello and happy Friday. So this episode is called What to Do If He Stops Initiating Contact. And this is probably going to follow on from an episode I did earlier in the week about the whole masculine feminine dynamic thing. So I've got my notes here so I don't forget anything. But I want to start off by explaining, like, in the natural world, like if you look at animal species as well, the man needs to impress the female, and you see them like the peacock with his feathers all spread out, and you see other birds doing the same sort of thing, and you see all the different animals doing their thing, trying to impress the female, because ultimately they're wired to reproduce, right? So at first he'll be on his best behavior. And if he's not doing that, that's a red flag. You need to run at that point. But let's just say you've met someone, he's on his best behavior because he's doing the whole impressing thing, which is great. And it works even better if you are in your feminine energy. So he wants to think that he's the best thing for you ever. But why does he stop? Why has he all of a sudden stopped? Maybe he's ghosted or something's happened, and there'll be a couple of reasons why. So if he's a good man, now we're going to assume he's a good man and you've been in your feminine, okay? So if you've been in your feminine and this happens, it could be that, and this can actually happen at around the 2-month mark. It's sometimes before, sometimes after, but very common around the 2-month mark. He might have recognized by this point that he can't give her what he wants. He can't give you what you want. And that could be for other various reasons. Like I had one end things, it was well after the 2-month mark, because he needed to focus on his sick parents. And he basically had to end it there because that was his focus. And he was one of those people that was very laser focused on things. And he didn't want to let me down and leave me thinking what he felt I deserved better, basically. So I didn't feel the same way at the time, but now looking back, I'm very grateful to him for doing the right thing by me, because I've now moved on to meet Laurie, right? So that's probably one. Now, one thing Laurie did at the 2-month mark was he was thinking about the relationship, and for him, it felt this is too good to be true. It was too easy being with me. He thought he was looking at things through rose-colored glasses, and he'd come out of a really toxic relationship prior to meeting me. So the bar was low. And the thing is, when he met me and everything was so easygoing and relaxed, and I just went with the flow because I'd learned to be in my feminine by this time. I'd well and truly embraced it by this time. And he thought I was like, what? This woman is so amazing. Like, what? Anyway, so he got the speed wobbles because he was questioning if this was even real. And he'd speak to his friends and go, I'm feeling this way. And they'd go, you idiot, and slap him around verbally a bit. And then one night he spoke to me about it. He said, look, I've been having these thoughts. And I got a little bit upset, but I said to him, and he goes, oh, I didn't mean to upset you. I said, no, I'm really glad you told me, because it's really important that if we are going to move forward, that we're able to have these difficult conversations without making the other person wrong for bringing it up. So I really appreciate the fact that you told me. And my reaction to that made him, he after that went, she's it, she's the one. But the thing is, he still had those doubts for a little while. It wasn't like they were instantly turned off. But I gave him the space and the time to work through those feelings and to keep being the same version of me I'd been right up until that point, so that he could see that he knew what he was getting in for, right? So, and yeah, very common. So, and another thing too, they want to make sure they can give us what we deserve. And if they do pull back because they don't think they're good enough, and a lot do this, a lot more than you think, will pull back because they just don't think they're up to your standard. And unfortunately, they're often right. Like Laurie wasn't like that. He was more just thinking he was seeing things unclearly because I was such a change from his ex. So it was a very different situation. Now, there are some men out there too who aren't truly ready for a relationship right now. Like they might have got so far with you and realized that you're a keeper, but he isn't ready to have a keeper in his life, and he doesn't want to hurt you down the tracks because he's not ready to settle down yet. So they will often let you go at that point. Sometimes they like the fun of the chase, and when there's no longer the chase, they're see you later. And those people are probably the uncommitted type as well. So they're probably doing you a favor by backing off. Now, if they see you as wife material, they may also step back. And that's purely because they think you deserve to be treated like the wife, but they don't want a wife yet. And it's not like they won't in the future, but right now, that's not what they want. And they don't want to hurt you or lead you on. There'll be others that have other aspects of their life that they need to focus on right now. Maybe he's studying, or he's got family issues, or something to do with his kids, or like who knows, before he can support a real relationship. And again, he doesn't want to leave you in the lurch or lead things along only to find out he just can't do it anymore. So he breaks your heart later on. So he's again doing the right thing by you by cutting it off there, to let you go and find someone who is ready to go all in. And then there's the whole lack of communication issue. So a lot of men just really struggle with it. And it's a shame because communication has kept mine and Laurie's relationship in the best possible shape ever, because we're both able to have the difficult conversations with each other, and we're both able to bring things up that are a little bit ick without it turning into a fight, because we've never had a fight, but we have had plenty of uncomfortable conversations with each other where, he might be upset with me about something, or I might be upset with him about something, but we talk it out like grown-ups and it's fine, right? Now, another reason why he may be pulling back is because of the way you are showing up. So if you are showing up in your masculine, like you're doing for him, you're being in that really strong masculine energy, he will probably struggle to feel an emotional connection with you. Okay. So what happens with women is that we tend to build connection and attraction through sex. And men don't. They can, but not like if they're not ready for a relationship, they can get in there, do it, get out, and they're done. Like, and there's no emotional connection built there. Whereas women are very wired quite differently. It's very hard for a woman to do, say, a friend with benefits situation with a man, because she's more likely to catch feelings down the track, and never ends well if you catch feelings and let things continue. Now, there could be just be there, you could be the perfect woman, but he's just not feeling it. It's not a F yes. Okay. And if that's the case, if it's not a definite yes, then it's got to be a no. And he may not know the reason why that is. And that's why it's, we just trust that they know, like they've made this decision based on where they're at. And if we're in the feminine and not initiating, and he basically drops off, you've got your answer. You don't need closure. Like, your closure is he's moved on. he's not contacting you. So yeah. Now, what else have I got here? Yeah, so if you're both suppressing your feelings, that's always a problem. When you are open and vulnerable, as opposed to, so there's a lot of women out there who are like, I can look after myself. You don't need to look after me. That actually shuts down a lot of that nurturing energy in him. So that it actually can cut the connection between you. So And I struggled with this because I'm a very independent person. And, Laurie's often saying, oh, let me do this for you. And I want to say no, but I've learned to say, oh, that'd be great. Thank you. He even loves it when I take a jar over to him to open for me because I'm a weakling. But the thing is, you've got to let him take care of you because that's how he is wired. And if you keep telling him through your actions that he's not needed, that any sense of attraction is depleted because here I'm playing with my microphone here. Yeah, that attraction depletes and off you go, sort of thing. So there's one. Another thing too, actually there was this woman I was listening to the other day saying never give a man the feeling he has won you over, and I don't agree with that. Like, I think yes, men like the chase generally and that sort of thing. But if you are moving into a committed relationship, it's pretty obvious he's won you over. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said yes to the relationship, right? So I think that's nuts. But on the other hand, yeah, here's another thing that Laurie really liked about me when we first met. So I had pre-booked a few different events with friends before we had met that were happening after we'd met. And he wanted to take me out one night. And I said, oh, sorry, I've got plans with these friends. And he was so happy about that. I'm like, what? And he said, I really like that you've got your own life, because his ex didn't. And so he was basically her sole source of entertainment, which felt like pressure to him, this constant pressure of needing to look after her and keep her amused and happy all the time. So the fact that I had my own life, I was going to the gym, I had my friends and different events that I had tickets for and that sort of thing, I kept that up. And like even now I'll go to my own networking events and things like that without Laurie. And that's fine. Like there's one particular one he comes to with me, but the others I go to on my own. And it's that, we've got our own lives. We don't have to live in each other's pockets. Like he's got his own activities that he does as well. So between us, we're a really good balance that we just do our own thing, but we also have our stuff we do together. Don't make him the center of your universe, because again, that will be a bit of a turn off for him. And he may not even be aware that why he's feeling that turny offy energy. Okay. And and the reason for that is because he doesn't need to make an effort anymore, because you've done all the work. You've made it clear it's already done. And at the same time too, don't play hard to get either. Like, so we're going to the other side of the scale. Now, don't play hard to get, because games, nah. Like if you make your plans and everything else, and if you get asked out by the guy and you have plans, you tell him you have plans, but never tell a guy that you do have plans when you really don't. Like if you're just trying to pretend you're being hard to get, because it'll be picked up in your energy. It's about being authentic and vulnerable. And if you get asked out and you have plans with girlfriends on a particular night, go with them. Don't go with him. Now, if you're doing this every single night or every single time he asks you out, you have plans with someone else, that might be a red flag for him. So you've got to have it balanced. So don't be all one way or the other. Okay. So what do you do if he stops initiating contact after all that? Nothing. You do nothing. You lean back. And if he reaches out, you respond in a positive way. You don't have a go at him, because you're basically punishing him for reaching out then, right? So you lean back, get busy, focus on you. Don't sit there by your phone looking at it, willing it to ring or ding with a text from him or something like that. Get busy with your life. Do your stuff. And if he does reach out, you're going to be in a much better place emotionally, mentally, physically as well. And you're more likely to respond in a more positive way, because ultimately, if he goes quiet, you don't know exactly why unless he tells you, right? And when he reaches out, if you're all like fire and brimstone yelling at him for being quiet for so long, what do you think he's going to do? Like, if I was him, I'd run for the hills. I'd be like, what if he was dealing with something genuine that just meant that he didn't have the capacity to do anything else. Like, he might have had a death in the family or something mentally going on with himself, or you just don't know. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are taking care of you and you are responding in the most feminine and beautiful way you possibly can if he does reach out. But if he doesn't, date other men. Like, you're not in a relationship. So date others. And if you are in a relationship, you need to have a serious talk with him. Have the talk. If he says he's not done, if he says he's done, thank him for his honesty and move on. But if you're just dating, go and date someone else. Go back to that rotational dating episode I talked about 2 days ago. Sometimes we need to do that because it helps us to pull our energy back and get back into our feminine, so we're not in that like wanting to control things and take action and initiate and all that sort of thing with him. So I'll leave you with that. But if you have any questions, reach out. And if you'd like to learn how to get into alignment with having the love you desire, go to empoweredlifeprograms.com/manifest to check out my little free mini course, which helps you to wade through the energetic side of manifesting love and help you to understand why, if it's not happened yet, that you don't have love in your life at the moment, because there'll be a specific reason why it has not happened for you yet. So check it out. It's free. It'll take, I don't know, an hour or two max of your time. And I look forward to hearing what you think about it. So I'll see you there.